Welcome, everyone, to HTL Cup Series action here on ABN. Race 6 of the HTL Cup Series season rolls through Michigan International Speedway for what should be a very thrilling event. We're glad you're with us for all the action coming up here tonight. Qualifying in the books, but we have a lot to cover before we get into race time. Points as they run going into this race. Those marked in the light blue are race winners this season so far. We've got 4 of them through the first 5 races. Bren Roberts, Patrick Oberstadt, 3 race wins between the two. They're sitting at the top of the board. Mark Kissenweather, Eli Sasick, Tucker Sawyer, Pacey Wygant, Josh Susie, Shad Swatsworth, your top 8 right now. Swatsworth, the winner of the Daytona 500 earlier this season. Josh Stoltz, Byron Jones, Stephen Oberstadt, Matt Forndren, the top 12. Everyone trying to get in that top 12, that locks you in based on points. And that's what everyone wants to see. Outside the top 12, it gets a little bit more up in the air. Zach Apperson, your winner from Talladega last week, his first career HTL Cup Series win, helps him out quite a bit. If he falls out of the top 16, it's not the end of the world. If you have a race win and you're outside the top 16, you get one of those 4 wildcard spots, 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. So Apperson obviously right now already in the top 16 right now, so he would just stay where he's at. But as we go through and do more races this season, there'll be more race winners that could potentially be out of the top 16 that move their way in. So the pressure is now on Sharp, Meredith, Thompson, and Cody Pennell especially to try to get themselves either a race win or in the top 12 as this season progresses into the fall. As you can see, some of the drivers outside that list that could bump themselves in: Cody Pennell, Alfred Denny, who's not here tonight due to a power outage in Milwaukee. Hopefully he stays safe, and hopefully we get to see him again next week. Blake Galloway, Kevin Feemster, Olivia Pereira, Jeremy Braille, Hunter Peach, Dean Clavitt. The start of the season has not been so well for any of those drivers, but it's not been the worst case scenario for any of them either. So some work for them to do beginning here in Michigan tonight as we get closer to the end of October. Warm-up going on at the moment. We'll go ahead and kind of go over some things here at Michigan Speedway. 2-mile racetrack. It's one of 2 that we've seen on the HTL calendar that are 2 miles long, this and Fontana. Historically, there was always 3. Texas World Speedway, that has since been demolished in College Station, was another one that was very similar to Michigan. Was used a lot of times in testing for the Cup Series teams back in the day. Matthew Boone, former champion, has the track record, 38.576 seconds here in Brooklyn, Michigan. A lot of former winners here. Dylan McDonald won the first race here at Michigan in HTL competition. 2 of the greats in HTL history have shared wins, 2 apiece. Caitlin Height and the 2-time former champion Josh Susie, who is currently fastest in warm-up at the moment. 2 stages, no stage breaks. Lap 35 and lap 70 will be the split for those stage points. Keep an eye on that with no stage breaks. That fuel mileage window, 35 to 38 laps, it's going to be close in that first stage on getting to that number. A little bit easier in stage 2 if things go green all the way. This race, as of late, has given itself credence to being able to run more green flag racing. This is traditionally one of HTL's best racetracks across the board. Trucks, Gen 6, Gen 7, all have been pretty good here. So we'll keep an eye on how all of that plays into effect going into tonight. Would be remiss not to also talk about the upcoming races as this season progresses forward. Next week, we head to Texas Motor Speedway. 145 laps next Monday night. Then we head to the Chicago Street Course on November 3rd. The BFL 500 at Charlotte, one of the longest races of the season, November 10th. And then you have the Henderson Graphics 400 at Atlanta before we head into Pocono on November 24th, the Monday before Thanksgiving. So those are the races coming up here on the HTL Cup Series calendar. Pretty good hits all the way around for how all of that plays out. And again, bringing up the Cup Series standings. Big talking points right now. 3 race winners in the top 12. A 4th race winner, Zach Apperson, from last week in Talladega, outside the top 12. Everyone now trying to get themselves into this spot right here. Matt Vorndren in the hot seat. Patrick Oberstadt trying to stay in the top 12. Same with Byron Jones and Josh Stoltz, the rookie, trying to keep himself safely in that top 10 as we get ready to go racing here tonight. The 6th time of 23 races in the HTL Cup Series season. We're glad you're with us here for HTL on ABM. Score ticker at the bottom of your screen going over all the sports active right now. Football, hockey, basketball, all in play. We'll also be able to cover some sports live in the bottom right-hand corner. 2 Monday Night Football games going on right now. Buccaneers and the Lions going at it right now. Lions winning 14-0. Texans and Seahawks. Seahawks hosting. They'll go live at 10 p.m. tonight. We'll keep all of you in check there and keep everyone up to date as that takes over. That being said, I think it's time for us to go over the starting grid. So here we go. Josh Susie, Chad Swatsworth will be on the front row of the grid. 2 juggernauts here at Michigan International Speedway. We'll see how they handle from the front row. Traditionally, the front row's not treated people kindly here this season. Row 2, last week's race winner, Zach Apperson, continuing the momentum. He is starting in 3rd alongside Lily Sharp for NFG Motorsports. Zach Meredith, Josh Gaiman in row 3. Meredith running a Ripple scheme. Josh Gaiman in a part-time obligation with Valfreya Motorsports, doing a good job there in the 61. Row 4 is where you'll find Jeremy Braille and Blake Henderson as we get ready to go racing here in Michigan. Henderson qualifying top 10. He needs a good run. He is outside the top 30 in points still, 5 races in. Mark Kissenweather, Pacey Wygen in row 5. It's very much a Toyota fest in the top 10. Josh Arnold, Ross Baxter in row 6. Kissenweather and Arnold, teammates, nose to tail, inside and outside that top 10. Matt Vorndren, Gary Donaldson make up row number 7. Matt Vorndren looking to improve his standing. Currently 12th in points. David Smoot Jr. taking over the 54 for NFG Motorsports. He starts alongside Stephen Oberstadt in row number 8. KJ Gibney for Lady Liberty Motorsports starts alongside Elias Flores in row 9. That's 17th and 18th on the grid. Dean Clava filling in the 83 car for Bren Roberts this weekend. He starts alongside Ohio's own Olivia Pereira. Callie Height, the British driver in row 11, 21st alongside Tucker Sawyer. Dale Markowski, Cody Pinnell in row 12, 23rd and 24th on the grid. Richard Odie, Byron Jones, row 13, 25th and 26th on the grid here tonight. Austin Mongol, Chelsea Carter in row 14, 27th and 28th. Your top 30 capped out by Dustin Hall and Eli Sasek here in Michigan. Row 16, Josh Stoltz and Patrick Oberstadt as we come to 1 to green here in Michigan International Speedway for the Brooklyn 350. Row 17, the penultimate row in the grid, Bailey Thompson and Angel Santiago. Looks like Dustin Hall starting from the pit lane. A mechanical issue for the 1 car here tonight. Starting in the back of the field, 35th will be how he starts this race as a result. Bailey Thompson, Angel Santiago in the 17th row, 18th row. Supposed to be Kevin Feemster, everyone on the inside lane moving up a spot, with Dustin Hall having to start from pit lane. So Kevin Feemster did not set a qualifying time, by the way, so he has a lot of work to do. We've seen that before. Zach Meredith in season 3, one of his best races that resulted in a race win was here at Michigan. Spun 3 times, some of his own volition, some not, and still came around to grab a race win here in the Great Lakes State. Glad you're with us for what should be a very fun night of racing. 35 cars to dust off, rinse off, and get out of the Talladega Blues, looking towards the month and a half ahead as we get into the holiday season. Season of greetings, the season of giving is upon us. What will Michigan International Speedway give to the drivers? Pace car is in pit lane. As we roll through the restart zone, green flag flies, away we go. Bit of a mess outside the top 15. Everyone jockeying for positions. Josh Susi leads lap number 1, but you see almost 5 wide going into turn 1. Everyone trying to find real estate, trying to race these cars like they're champ car machines. Still 3 wide in a couple spots here. This is well outside the top 15, close to the top 20 mark here. Camera focus right now on the 81 on the 00, 400 and Wygen just ahead of the top 20 mark. A little bit of spread out there, a little bit of a gap between the lead pack and the second pack. Easy to close up with some slipstream, with some draft. But it's going to be hard to do that when you're 3 wide. Everyone trying to find positions and real estate early. Talked to some drivers prior to this race. This car is expected to get tighter as the run goes along, so positions will be harder and harder to make up as we go through a fuel run. As we mentioned, 35 to 38 laps on a fuel run is what we're looking at right now. So it'll get the conditions will get a little bit worse for the drivers that are trying to push right now. They've got to find a way to conserve the right front tire especially. We've seen a lot of blistering, a lot of graining on that right front going into this race. Keep an eye on that. Those that are pushing right now, can they keep that pace across the full stint? Especially those that are trying to get into the top 10 and grab some stage points early on. Going to be interesting tidbits to sort of keep an eye on throughout this 125 lap event. Josh Susi continues to lead the way. It is not without pressure from Chad Swatsworth and Lily Sharp, but it is Toyotas all over the place. Top 3 earmarked by Toyota Camry, built in Kentucky. The Camry built in Kentucky. You have both the Camaro and the Mustang built in Michigan right here. This has been fighting ground for Chevrolet and Ford for decades. We'll see more of that as this goes along. Best Ford, 4th place. Zach Apperson, your race winner last week in Talladega. Best Chevrolet at the moment, Josh Gaiman, right there behind him in 5th. As you can tell, immediately single file through most of the field, especially those in the top 10. They know the game. They know what's up right now. It's all about conserving that right front. Applying pressure without putting yourself under pressure has been the status quo here at Michigan so far tonight. Through practice, through qualifying, we've seen sort of the same thing. Try to protect that right front. It's sort of going to be what gets you close to that top 10, what's going to give you a chance later on in this race. But it's also going to make it pretty hard to figure out who's got the ability to stand out with outright pace at the moment, with everyone having to go into management mode early on. Not everyone loves this kind of racing. Some people would love to just sprint and go all out. But the endurance nature here, 125 laps. You got to think long. You got to think long game. So you got to go not just the first stop on lap 35 to 38, but you got to go the second stop after lap 70, that third stop after lap 110. You got to think ahead in this wild and fast game of chess. See a little bit of battling going on right now. Henderson and Kissenweather battling for 9th place at the moment. This was another concern, sort of being freight trained by those around you. Henderson didn't just lose one spot, he lost 2. As Kissenweather went around him, so did the 54 of David Smeal Jr. And he had to almost shut the door and make sure that Pacey Wygant didn't do the same thing. Ross Baxter's already slid back a couple spots. He was trying to surge early. That's not been the case as he falls backwards. Crush trying to charge forward here. Steven Oberstadt, we talked about him. I love the points going in. Right now, he's sitting in the 16th spot. Not a great place to be right now. But he's more of a finisher type deal here in HTL. He's always pretty good at the end of the races, even if he starts out pretty quiet here at the start. And it looks like to be more the same here for the 3-car in Brooklyn. Eli Sasek getting around Blake Henderson. He has lost 6 spots now. Sasek's up 17. He has done a fantastic job from 30th place all the way to 13th. He has been on a charge. The concern you have 10 laps in, he has had to push harder than most. Can he keep hold of all of that as this race goes forward, especially as we get closer to lap 30? Gets around Henderson, tries to get around Baxter. We'll see what he can do. Right on board with Henderson. Keystone Motorsports lead driver. He is now down in the 15th spot, down 7 spots from where he started this race. Been passed now by Elias Flores as well. Steven Oberstadt next up on his bumper. And you see there's that 3-car of Oberstadt, that gold and black. And then you have the 96, Olivia Pereira, right there in the mix as well. Ford, Chevrolet, Toyota, all in the mix. And that is for the top 15 where Henderson's at right now. Henderson, longest winless drought, 92 races without a race win right now for Blake Henderson. This is his 133rd start. That is important. His teammate Zach Apperson, a race winner this season, grabbed his first race win of the season. It has been success not shared by the rest of the Tombstone squad. Dustin Paul struggled. Derek Donaldson struggled. Blake Henderson struggled. That 4-car has won twice. It's won last season at the hands of Rudy Valentin in Sonoma, and now one with Apperson behind the wheel last week in Talladega. Tombstone trying to break through and find some level of consistency and contending for results. Apperson on an island in that regard, still sitting in the top 5, having lost 1 spot to Lily Sharp. Henderson in the middle of no man's land. He's ahead of Donaldson. He's ahead of Dustin Hall. But he's nowhere close to where his teammates at, and he's nowhere close to where he wants to be. This is a track that he enjoys, but he is struggling right now, and he has struggled most of the season. It has been a season of absolute struggles. See here, Olivia Pereira trying to make her way around on the outside. Some movers and shakers still. Just different people trying to pick out when to go, when to move forward. But theoretically, passes will be easier to make later on in this run. Everyone that's pushing now won't be able to push later. The issue is that the more you push later, the worse you'll get, and the faster that falls apart for you. So Pereira picking her fight pretty easily, picking off Henderson for 15th. Overstat trying to be clinical, has lost a spot to Pereira, but trying to gain that back on Henderson. As Matt Vorndren also sits in weight, so Carolina Beagle Racing and that squad not doing too bad at the moment. Definitely a lot quieter for that team. They don't have quite the heavy hitters at the front as they normally do. Bryn Roberts, as we talked about, not here tonight, being filled in for by Dean Clavitt. Patrick Overstat also kind of off his game a little bit, didn't qualify well. 32nd was where he started this race. He's up 10 spots already, though, to 22nd place. As we mentioned, it's a game of chess, and it's a long game. No guaranteed stage breaks. The only cautions we get are for accidents here. So everyone has to put it forward. Eli Sasek, meanwhile, started this race in 30th. He is now in the top 10. He has done an outstanding job moving forward. He is the biggest mover, and it's not even close. Sasek continues his, pun intended a little bit here, ascent. We approach lap 19 on the board. Josh Susie continues to lead the way over Shad Swatsworth. Josh Gaiman has made his way up into third place, got around both Zach Apperson and Willie Sharp. Josh Gaiman was also surprised. He was not aware he was already nearing the 90 starts mark. This is his 89th start in the HTL Cup Series. This is not including the Truck Series or the National Series, in which case he would be over 100 total starts. This is just his Cup Series stats. 6 poles, 6 wins in his career, 28 top 5, 32 top 10s. Racing for Valfreya Motorsports, trying to get that team its first win with Callie Height as a teammate. Pulling around at the moment. Callie Height has not had a lot of success at the moment. Started hot, couldn't keep it going, down in 26th at the moment. Sasek, he is continuing to charge forward around Kissenweather for 9th. His teammate Wygant right ahead of him. Sasek, a home race for him. Well, I mean, we'll bring this up. Grand Rapids, just across the state. But it's about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive from Brooklyn. But this is very much home track status for Eli Sasek. This racetrack means just a little bit more to the number 9 camp. And we're seeing that pretty well in True here. Again, didn't qualify well, but that has not hindered him in the slightest. Top 10 and looking good so far through the first 21 laps in the books here in Michigan. Some more battles going on here. This is, once again, the fringe of the top 15 seems to be very interesting. Blake Henderson's gotten back ahead. He's actually gained a spot up to 14th place. And trouble car in the fence. It's Vorndren. I do believe that is Vorndren who has hit the fence. It is, and he's got some significant damage on the 81 car. Is that a trip down pit lane for the 81? He's going to try to stick it out, I think. Yes, he will try to stick it out a little bit, but he's going to drop behind Ross Baxter and try to nurse that car around to the pit window when we get to the end of stage number 1. I'd be surprised if he doesn't come down a couple laps early to see how bad that is. Again, no stage breaks, but a caution seems unlikely at the moment. Feel pretty well spread out at the moment. This is well further back. This is for 30th place at the moment. 29th place, excuse me. Bailey Thompson right ahead there in 29th. Mongol 30th, Santiago in 31st. But there is racing all the way around this racetrack at the moment, including right here as well. Dale Markowski and Richard Odie battling for 23rd, right there behind Byron Jones, and just ahead of KJ Gibney. At 11 laps to go in stage one. We're glad you're with us here. We're going to take a second and we're going to, selfishly, we're going to crank it up here so I can eat dinner that just got delivered because it got delivered late. But we're going to go ahead and crank it up here. We don't have a crank it up cam set, so we'll just ride on board and give you some onboard shots here for the next few laps as we get ready to close out stage number one here in Michigan. Race already on board there with Eli Sasic. Pit stops beginning in earnest for the field. Josh Susie, Lily Sharp, Zach Meredith, Jeremy Brea all in, and that's not the first round. Markowski, Pereira, Thompson, Gaiman all in. It does move Chad Swassworth up to the front of the field ahead of Zach Apperson and Eli Sasic here. As we get ready to complete lap number 1. Reminder, stage points do matter quite a bit as Apperson comes down pit lane. You get a stage win, that's a playoff point. That helps you out in the round of 16 when that begins after New Year's Day in 2026. And right now, that is provisionally in the hands of Chad Swassworth. 34 laps underway here. Remember, stage 1 ends at the end of lap 35. It's when you cross the line to start lap 36 that you secure those stage points if you're in the top 10. Everyone thinking stage points at the moment because every point counts to a degree. And does Sasic come in this time? Yes, he does. Chad Swassworth will continue on. He's looking for some stage points, and he's looking for some playoff points as well. In that number 6, actually saving a little bit of fuel to do that. You heard the cutout of the throttle as he hit the clutch. So he is stretching that tank a little bit. So the number we had, 35 to 38 laps, it looks like it's a little bit shorter than that with us running all the way under green so far. There's Josh Susie a lap down. He should re-inherit the race lead. Once everyone comes down pit lane, Swassworth down pit lane right now. How about Josh Arnold? He stays out. Josh Arnold will win the stage as a result of that. Coming across our finish line, 10 points and a stage win for Josh Arnold. Steven Oberstadt second. That's very important. 9 points for the 3-car. Ross Baxter also staying out, grabs 8 bonus points in the stage there. And it seems like the rest of the stage points determined by the pit lane. So that'll be a pretty murky investigation that we'll save for the officials to do after the race. But we do know Arnold, Oberstadt, and Baxter are your top 3. Sorry, Oberstadt, Arnold, and Baxter are your top 3. That was right. And caution's out. Caution has come out during the pit stop sequence. And I would believe it could potentially be for either Thompson or Mongol. Not certain. I could be wrong on that. We will take a look. Indication is saying that it could be Chelsea Carter exiting the pit lane. Was that the case? No. It wasn't Bailey Thompson. It wasn't Austin Mongol. This is very interesting. And trying to figure out when the caution came out and where and why. So again, we're going to kind of browse and peruse around the field, see if we can we'll go with the spotter cam. We've got a spotter cam above the roof here. And we'll just sort of click and choose through the field. Oh, could that be Callie Height? Oh, 100% was Callie Height. There you go. Callie Height with some sort of issue. See if we can get a better look at that. Is this coming out of pit lane? I believe it is. Yes, it is coming out of pit lane for Callie Height, who draws the first caution of the race after stage 1 had already come to a close. Trying to get up to speed on the apron, clips the yellow line with the right side tires, and goes for a pirouette on the racetrack. That is a pretty slam dunk caution, I would believe. Ross Baxter and everyone coming down pit lane. You see him leaving pit lane 7th place overall. That's a net positive for the 38 car. A lot of those that stayed out a little bit longer got bailed out quite a bit by that. Josh Susie does re-inherit the race lead. There will be a lot of wave rounds that need to be done here in Michigan. So while we get all that set up here and we get ready to go back racing, we'll step aside for a quick break from a word from one of HTL sponsors, and we'll come back to get ready for the bulk of Stage 2 and another round of green flag racing here in Michigan. Stay tuned. Racing about to get back underway here in Michigan International Speedway. Your top 5, bottom of your screen: Josh Susie, Lily Sharp, Zach Meredith, Zach Apperson, and Eli Sassick. Your top 5 ahead of Pacey Wygant, Ross Baxter, Dean Clavitt, Josh Arnold, and Steven Oberstadt. Your top 10 here after Stage 1. First caution of the night, a spin for Callie Height. A lot of single file cars going to be joining at the back of the field. A lot of wave rounds. There was a lot of cars that were a lap down under the pit stop sequence that we were nearly through. We had nearly completed that green flag pit stop sequence when the caution came out. So a lot of cars taking the wave around. This should safely get everyone beyond lap 70 in Stage 2. However, those that took the wave around could not grab a pit stop, could not top off with fuel. So they'll be at a little bit of a disadvantage going into this green flag run coming up. As we get ready for this restart presented by Henderson Graphics, it is Toyotas once again front row, followed by a pair of Fords. Green flag flies, away we go. Susie, a little bit of wheel spin. Nothing terrible there. A lot of checkups further on back in the pack as everyone gets going at stagnant rates. But Josh Susie worries about none of that. He is out and ahead of his teammate. It is an NFG Motorsports 1-2 at the moment, ahead of Zach Apperson, who wants to go back-to-back. He's had a taste of victory now for the first time in HTL. He'd love it again. Ross Baxter tags the wall. Not how you want to start off Stage 2. And he's going to lose a spot here to Josh Arnold pretty quickly and Dean Clavitt. Three wide for the back. Baxter seems to have suffered a little bit of damage the further back in the order he goes. He falls out of the top 10. Now getting passed by Braille, who moves into that 10th spot. Gary Donaldson up in the top 12, looking at 11th place. And immediately everyone tries to get back in single file, the way it was back in Stage 1, where everyone was trying to pick off cars one piece at a time. Five cars stuck a lap down right now. Tucker Sawyer, Elias Flores, Callie Height, Chelsea Carter, and Olivia Pereira, who had a speeding issue on pit lane during the green flag stops. But all 35 cars still running here in Michigan. After that first caution, a spin for Callie Height. That left her trapped a lap down on the exit of pit lane. Sawyer right now currently in that free pass position. Sorry, make that Kevin Feemster in the free pass position in 30th place. Overlooked his status right there, being stuck a lap down. There's more cars stuck a lap down, actually. I think Bailey Thompson's where the line starts. Yeah, 27th place, Bailey Thompson. So some cars really hurt by that caution on lap 36. Feemster trying to race his way forward, though. See what he can do. They're up near the front, so it's not all gloom and doom. They can race their way forward and try to get their lap round the hard way by passing the race leader, Josh Susi, to do so. But he has been pretty hard to stop so far. Remember, 2 race wins for Josh Susi. Tied most here at Michigan with Caitlin Height. Susi had to wait forever to grab a race win last season. Wanted to make sure that was not the case here. Michigan was one of those tracks that he had circled as a potential place to grab a race win and have himself a bit of an insurance policy this season. And caution's out for the second time. And this one's not so conspicuous. Byron Jones, hard hit inside wall for the 60 car. Second caution of the night. Byron Jones in 26th place as things sit. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happened to Byron Jones here, and we're going to get a pretty good look here. Let's go ahead and take a look in full speed. First, bounces off the wall. I believe it's bouncing off of one of the Ascent cars. It is, and doesn't actually hit the wall. Great job locking it up without blowing the tires out. That was almost surely a gloom and doom scenario for Byron Jones, and he avoids complete annihilation. Bailey Thompson gets the free pass and will join the lead lap in that 27th position for car 26. Let's go ahead and watch that from the chopper cam here. That is, I believe, Pereira in the 96 car. It is. And Jones, if we back it up just a little bit, Pereira's trying to let cars go by, it looks like. Checks up here a lot. Byron Jones just washes up really tight behind those cars, behind Josh Gaiman and Patrick Overstat, the 88, up ahead there. Just washes out a little bit, bounces off the 96, and goes for a ride for this second caution. And that allows those that did not pit under the wave around to come down pit lane, especially those outside the top 10. They have a chance to do so, and they're going to a pretty significant degree. See a lot of these cars coming down pit lane. Byron Jones coming down pit lane. Everyone outside the top 15 now in pit lane from Shad Swatsworth on down, grabbing that fuel. Some cars a lap down also doing so now that we're not in that frantic and that frenzied wave around space that we were under the first caution. Bailey Thompson getting the free pass will come down pit lane this time by. And it'll move Austin Mongold to the first car in a free pass position there, 28th place for the 29 car, as Josh Susi continues to lead the way. Susi, Sharp, Apperson, Wygent, and Sasek, your top 5 at the moment after 45 laps in the books of 125. We are close to the 2/5 mark here in Michigan International Speedway, the Brooklyn 350. Here for the HTL Cup Series, race 6 of 23 in the HTL Cup Series season. We're glad you're with us and you're spending part of your Monday evening with us while watching Monday Night Football, assumingly. It was hyped up to be a really good game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Detroit Lions. Pulling up your live scores here tonight, it has not been as competitive as people have thought it would be. Baker Mayfield leading the Buccaneers. We've seen some magic from Baker Mayfield. He has got to bake up something pretty good here. Try to lead the Buccaneers 21-9 right now. About an hour away from kickoff in Seattle. It is the Seahawks hosting the Houston Texans. That could be a pretty interesting game. The Texans need a lot of help. The Seahawks could use a get-right game. But those games coming on tonight would be remiss. Obviously, Major League Baseball playoff action going on as well. That is currently going on. It is the Mariners and the Blue Jays in the American League Championship Series. Game 7, Seattle leading over Toronto 2-1. The Mariners have never won a World Series, and they're trying to get their chance here this year to take on the Los Angeles Dodgers, who basically swept. I think it was a 4-0 sweep of the Milwaukee Brewers. So some sports going on here. Obviously, opening night here for the NBA coming up as well later on this week. Sports all the way around. We got soccer on the weekends as well. We got the European soccer going on. That started back over last month in September. MLS playoffs getting ready to kick off. So a lot to be excited for, and we're going to keep it all on your screen here on ABN. Bottom of your screen, that sports sticker. We'll keep it all in tap. Josh Susi, Lily Sharp will lead the field of green once more. Toyotas 1, 2, and 3 with Casey Wygen in third. Second restart of the night. Green flag flies. Let's go racing once again here in the Great Lakes State. A lot tighter of a restart. And you see it immediately. 3 wide, 2 rows. If not more. Car bouncing out, bouncing around. That is Arnold. Trying to avoid some melee, only to find more trouble. Now he's side by side with Davis Mule Jr. and Cody Pennell. And they are tight there in that 3 wide on the front straightaway. Everyone finding real estate and taking an inch and making a mile out of it. Rolling into turns 1 and 2. Everyone on fresh tires now. Everyone charging forward. They know they're good through stage 2. And trouble. Cody Pennell gets turned in front of most of the field, and that's going to be more trouble. Baxter gets turned. That is Swathworth turned. Vorndren, Beamster, Callie Height, all joining that party very late. Herrera spun around. Angel Santiago coming to a complete stop. That's the 90 of Santiago coming to a complete stop. Trying to avoid the carnage here. Does a good job of doing so. Gives himself a huge favor on that process and a crash that's going to set several cars back, lead lap and not. And we wondered how frantic it would be. The answer was quite frantic. Third caution of the night here in Michigan, and it is a mess. And it starts all the way in this 3 wide. That is Davis Mule Jr., Cody Pennell, and Josh Arnold. This is not a great angle of it. Neither is this one. Neither is this one. See if we can go up above with the chopper cam. There you go. And we'll back it up here because this could be a little bit of friendly fire on the arc side of things. 74, Jeremy Braille, the 8 of Cody Pennell, representing Fulham. Talk about sports, Premier League team. Go AB in slow motion here. Does Smeal turn the 8 car? 100% he does. 100% he does. I think he was trying to give Henderson some room. He was spooked by the 25. Braille gets turned by Cody Pennell on the upswing. Ross Baxter trying to avoid cars, ends up clobbering. That is the 6 of Swatsworth, who is looking so competitive here early on in Michigan. And back to full speed. The end of that's just kind of messy. Cars not slowing up very well in that situation. Callie Height, that is Kevin Feemster in that mess as well. Kevin Feemster's day effectively over. Right on board here with Feemster. You see the smoke. No lift. He lifts now. Still no brakes. You need to be on the brakes there. You see smoke, you lift out. You ease onto the brakes there. You have to. You genuinely have to. Callie Height, same boat. Full throttle here. See smoke. Doesn't lift for 4 seconds. You gotta lift. You see smoke, you gotta lift. And Callie hits the brake super late. That's why she spins. You gotta lift. The ending of that with the lap cars knowing you have the ability to take advantage of that, if you just don't get involved, you got to be careful. You got to just lift. You lift and brake. Don't put yourself in that position. And unfortunately, just about all the lap cars did it. So it's not just these two. These are just the two that I remembered seeing. Pereira, obviously, multiple laps down. This does not help. Tucker Sawyer also involved. Does not help. Santiago. I'll shout him out once again. Sparkling example of what to do in a crash in that situation. Got none of it. Slowed down. Came to a stop to make sure everyone was able to get going without being run into. Props on the 90 car tonight. Props on the 90 for Santiago. He's up to 20th now. He's gained 7 spots there with pit stops going on at the moment. Well done. Well done for Santiago. Others need to take notes as we get ready for a third restart of the night. It is still Josh Susie, now Pacey Wygant on the front row. They swap places with Lily Sharp. And then Zach Apperson in 4th, Zach Meredith in 5th. Steven Oberstadt, he's done pretty well for himself. He is now in the mix. He is in 6th, despite his team's self-implosion to a degree. Cody Pennell, Matt Vorndren, all in trouble here early in Stage 2. Stage 2 ends in about 18 laps, lap 70. No stage break for that. We've had 3 cautions, though, in Stage 2 alone. It has been the frantic stage. Hopefully everyone's been able to shake it off a little bit. Season trends say probably not the case. We're probably going to have another couple cautions in this stage alone. We'll see if we're right or wrong on that. ABN Analytics has been pretty spot on as far as predicting how these are going to go so far. Susie and Wygant, though, safest spots at the moment is the front of the field, and that's where they are for this third restart of the night. Green flag flies, and away we go. Once again, presented by Henderson Graphics. Susie. Something happened there with Josh Susie. He drops all the way down. And there is a significant problem on the 24 car. That car was shut off. What is going on with Josh Susie? He was looking to be the guy to beat. There is some significant problems with the 24 car. He's going to make it to pit lane. The field coming around turn 3 and 4 will put him a lap down under green. And just like that, 2 of the fastest cars at the start of this race now in a hole. Swats were still in pit lane taking repairs. 2 cars out, Feemster and Vorndren. And more cars in trouble as I think Susie is back out on the racetrack. He just now left pit lane, so there he goes. See if we can hear anything on the 24. It's a little bit quieter for Susie, but shifts up, gets around Bailey Thompson. I don't hear anything abnormal from the 24 car, so I'm not sure what happened with him. But not great. It is great, though, for Ascent Racing. Eli Sasek, the home driver, right now up to second place. His teammate up ahead of him, Pacey Wygant, looking for a race win to try to make things happen here. Wygant won here in the Truck Series for HTL. It's not won here in the Cup Series. We talked about that earlier. We pulled up that graphic on the tower. Dylan McDonald, the only non-Lady Liberty Motorsports driver to win here in Michigan. Caitlin Height, when she won her first race in Michigan, was an Arrowhead driver. But then Lady Liberty Motorsports sort of ran the gauntlet here at Michigan the last 3 seasons. things turning up pretty well for the Ascent Racing teammates. Better first and second. Zach Meredith up to third, and then there's Josh Gaiman back up to the top 5. He's in fourth ahead of Davis Field Jr., former teammates, now adversaries on the racetrack, as they both occupy the top 5. Zach Apperson 6th, Lily Sharp in 7th. Byron Jones, he's made up some spots here. He is in the top 10 and 8th. Stephen Overstat, he has slipped down to 9th. KJ Gibney, top 10 right now for him in that 31 car for Lady Liberty. Talk about how good this team has traditionally been. It's typically not been Gibney himself behind the wheel of those cars. He does have a race win, and another caution is out, and this time it is Ross Baxter who is spun sideways on the racetrack here. '38 car, more trouble for the Carolina Buell team, and Team Ralph has another car. Struggles here. Baxter attacked the wall earlier in this race. Seems like they did a good job of repairing that damage on the fender. Let's see what happened. Fourth caution of the night. This time Baxter, the cause of the caution. And this happens early. Does he get some help? This would be, Callie Height. Let's see. And let's see if we can go up to our spotter cam, our chopper cam here. Get a good picture here. So Baxter in the 38, Callie Height in the 87. Height's going to be frustrated. Baxter's not going to be the happiest camper. This is outside the top 20 as it is. Yeah, unfortunately, that's something we saw with Byron Jones as well, but it affected Jones more in that situation for the second caution. Height just understeers in traffic there, just washes out a little bit, and unfortunately, Baxter not clear ahead of the 87. When Height does wash up, Baxter is the recipient of the turn. So frustrating for Callie Height being involved in 3 of the 4 cautions of this race. Baxter also going to be frustrated being involved in 2 of the 4. But fortunately for Baxter on this occasion, no damage. And same goes for Callie Height. That could have been a lot worse. And potentially race ending. As the field comes down pit lane. 4 cautions tonight, and they've all been in stage number 2. It's not been great times in the second stage here at Michigan International Speedway, the Brooklyn 350. It has been pretty tumultuous. Stage 1 was perfect. Put that in a bubble. Stage 1 is outstanding. Stage 2 is quickly proving itself to be the anchor of the race so far, pulling the race to a standstill and a grinding halt. We get ready to go back racing. 4th restart coming up here. It is the Ascent teammates on the front row together. Josh Gaiman, Zach Meredith, Chevrolet and a Ford, row 2. More Toyotas, row 3. Davis Field Jr. and Lily Sharp, teammates there for NFG Motorsports. Zach Apperson and Byron Jones in row number 4. Row 5, Stephen Overstat and KJ Gibney. Pretty balanced overall. 3 Fords, 3 Chevrolets, 4 Toyotas. Not bad. About as balanced as it can be for top 10. Dustin Hall, he's made his way up close to the top 10. He's 11th right now alongside Mark Kissenweather. He'll be in row 6. He's up 17 spots from where he started this race. Can he get into the top 10 and shake off some of that dust and rust on the number 1 camp? We'll figure it out. Blake Henderson also got away from that big one, the third caution of the race, about 10 laps ago. He's sitting in the 13th spot at the moment. Not a bad run for him either, especially given how his season has gone. This is a godsend for him. He's in row 7 alongside Jeremy Braille. But it is the teammates at the front of the field as the pace car pulls in as we roll through the green flag zone. Away we go for the 4th restart here in Michigan. 9 to go in stage 2. Wygen holds on to the race lead. Sasek under a lot of pressure for that 2nd spot. That is Meredith in that Red Bull, number 17. Has to slot back into 3rd. But the fight is on once again here in Michigan. Remember, no stage break at lap 70. We raced through it. Is there a light at the end of the tunnel in this 2nd stage? We will find out. If a caution comes out between laps 66 and 70, the stage ends on that lap. So it's not over until the lady sings, but unfortunately, she doesn't need a lot of practice to get warmed up. It can happen at any moment. Lap 64 underway here in Michigan. And the teammates remain very hard to break here at the front of the field. You know how much Sasek wants it. First race win in his career in HTL Cup Series competition came at Daytona last season. He would love a race at home even more. Casey Wygen would love to return the victory lane as well. That much is very clear. He did not come here to finish 2nd and finish 3rd and be in the shadows. He wanted to be out front. He wants to be a race winner. He wants to be a championship contender. That's why he joined Ascent. Talk to people on Ascent Racing. They all pretty much echo the same thing. They think they've got some dogs racing for him here. Contenders in the ABN Champ Car World Series. Contenders here in HTL. They won it all. Car in the fence a little bit. That is Sasek. That was in the fence just a smidge. Saves it. Not under any threat from Meredith that go around. But if Sasek makes that sort of mistake again, he will be. .26 cars on the lead lap. Josh Searcy, the first car a lap down at the moment as things sit right now. And right now he is safely so. He was hoping for a little bit more chaos. He would love to be back on the lead lap right now. That would be, that'd give him a shot at life here. But now he's got to wait, and if he... The issue is that if you wait too awful long in stage 3, you won't really have a chance to do anything about it. Susie knows that. It's very difficult. You can't make passes in bunches once everyone's up to speed. Sasek's been really good at picking off bunches of people at a time. And that's how we went up from 30th to 10th in 14 laps. Susie, not quite that frantic. I don't think we've ever seen Josh Susie be that frantic and try to pull off that many passes at once. A little bit of contact, a little bit of bad bumping there between the 25 and the 60 going down the front straightaway, and it'll give Byron Jones the spot. Henderson not going to be the happiest camper about it, but also not able to do a whole lot to stop him. Braille also in the mix. Braille in 11th place at the moment and slipping backwards. Sienna Overstat and Dustin Hall fighting it out here. While we're sort of running around with this at the moment, you'll see a bunch of different flags on the side of your screen on the tower. Unless you're from France or from England, they're all state flags for the U.S. Gaiman's, for some reason, isn't the Pennsylvania flag. That's where his hometown is, New Oxford. But if we know where people's hometowns or home states are, they're usually represented there on the tower there. So if there's a flag you're not familiar with, for example, Utah had a state flag change. There you go. All pops up there. If you want to root for a driver from your home state, got plenty of options to pick from across the HTL field. Dustin Hall, he's moved ahead of Steven Oberstadt and now battling his teammate, Zach Apperson, for that 7th spot. Again, Apperson got himself a race win at Talladega last Monday. Looking pretty good again here tonight. He's looked really good. This is really the second half of last season. He's really stepped up his game. It seems like he's finally figured something out with this 7th generation car, because he has been pretty well on it here. And obviously the season's not started out hot for Tombstone altogether. That race win really turning the tide for Apperson in particular. But he's had the pace. He's been up here in the top 10 repeatedly, and that isn't a mistake for Apperson. That is becoming the norm. Both Apperson and Bailey Thompson threw some surprises at us last season. Apperson's done better of making good on that this season compared to Thompson, but Thompson's had the pace as well. Not had the luck, being involved in incidents here already, but both of them have had the speed and both of them shining bright here throughout the season at moments. Apperson trying to grab hold of the momentum with both hands that he got from Talladega here in Michigan, and he's hardly left the top 10 tonight. So huge shout out for the 4th team. His teammate dispatching him for 7th place, though. Dustin Hall, he's someone else. He's been good here. He's just not got a win here in Michigan. He would love to change that tide, and he is getting a little bit closer to that conversation. Meredith down the pit lane. Stage 2 came to an end 3 laps ago. I was on my little monologue. Casey Wygen and Eli Sasek, your top 2 through that stage. Wygen grabs the stage win and a playoff point to go towards the postseason, and 10 points to his credit. Now he needs a race win. And as we mentioned, Eli Sasek, hometown driver, as close as it gets when it comes to the HTL field. Sasek knows he really wants to win at this racetrack. As we mentioned before, he has a win at Daytona last season. This track means more to him than Daytona right now. Car on the outside lane. Keep an eye on the 61. Josh Gaiman. Seeing some vintage Josh Gaiman there running the outside lane, trying to close the gap and challenge for the race lead. And doing a good job at that. Davis Mule Jr. in 4th. Dustin Hall up to 5th. You saw pit stops underway. A couple cars have come down pit lane. Lily Sharp came down from the top 5. You see Lily Sharp coming out pit lane now, going a lap down in the process. Again, you will go a lap down here at Michigan, no matter what. It just pit lane slow enough. you'll go a lap down. The hope now going into this pit stop cycle is that another caution does not come out during the cycle that pins cars a lap down. That's how we saw some of the mess we saw earlier. Sasek in. And he's the only top 10 driver to come in that time other than Apperson. Apperson in from 8th. Henderson also came in that time. Dustin Hall did not. So Tombstone not synced up on the pit strategies. Dustin Hall knows that. He's certainly sitting in the 4th place. He thinks the overcut's going to be a little bit more advantageous, and he might be right, depending on how long he gets it through this cycle. Everyone's still got another guaranteed pit stop in this race. You can't get away from that as things run. Here comes Josh Gaiman coming down pit lane this time. Pacey Wygen stays out another go. Davis Booth Jr. also comes down pit lane, as will Jeremy Breault from the top 10. As Sasek comes out of pit lane. Normal stop there for him. 14.6 on the pit stop. 13.9 on the pit lane. A little bit slow on the pit entry for Sasek, but not enough, I think, to have a serious impact on him being away from his teammate when this is all said and done. Wygent rolling through. Dustin Hall in 2nd. Steven Oberstadt up to 3rd. Some of these cars that stayed out longer on the first green flag cycle. Doing so here again. I said flat for some reason. Thinking people got flat tires. Weird. KJ Gibney up to 4th. Mark Kissenweather in the top 5 as things sit right now. But again, all of this temporary. Pit stops are forever. And everyone mixing and matching here. Fresh tires versus old tires. Low fuel versus full fuel. For the next run here. And again, unless you're able to get somehow to lap 90, you've got an extra pit stop to make here as well in the last 25 laps of this race. More cars coming down pit lane. Wygent and Oberstadt coming down. Dustin Hall grabs a lap lead. No bonus points for it, but nice to have that one car in P1 as things sit. Eli Sasek trying to get his lap back the hard way. If a caution does come out, he does not want to be pinned a lap down, and he gets it. Dustin Hall doesn't have any incentive to fight him either on that situation. Willie Sharp, the undercut, worked out a little bit, closed the gap to the 9. We'll see how that pans out, and if that does, how does it affect the 0-0 of Pacey Wygent, who is leaving pit lane now. There's the 0 rolling. Dustin Hall stays out yet again, but Dustin Hall's not really the threat. It is all about Eli Sasek, who will leave Pacey Wygent in the middle of nowhere. The undercut worked out like a dream. That does speak a little bit of doom for the one car, who I think is hoping at this point, if you're able to cut that last stop super short in the last 10, 15 laps, you'll be able to gain what you're going to lose here. We'll see how that plays out. I want to see if he can get close to 90. If he can get close to 90, that'd be interesting. The most we saw under green was 36 laps under green. We didn't see anyone get close to 38, so you've got to get to lap 90. If you want to cut out a pit stop altogether, you got to get to 90 at least. Really Sharp trying to pull away here from the number 1 car. Sasek has already set sail, so Sharp had no answer for the 9 car. I think Gaiman and Sasek are going to be the battle for the lead once this all cycles through. We had a lot of holdouts, though. Dustin Hall came down pit lane on lap 45. So did Kissenweather, Gibney, and Jones. I'm worried, and everyone should be worried about the second group. Dean Clavitt on down. They all came down on lap 59. So they have a longer buffer. They could cut out a last stop here. It could be in the hands of a Dean Clavitt, a Ross Baxter, a Josh Arnold, Patrick Oberstadt, Dale Markowski. Those are all drivers that pit on lap 59. They can get to 90 comfortably. And something tells me that with Dustin Hall going a little bit further here, he's not uncomfy either at the moment. He's being carried out right now on the slipstream by Lily Sharp. which will help him out, save him a little bit more extra fuel to buy him an extra lap or so. But keep an eye on the 83, the 38, the 12, the 88, and the 33. They can go on just one more stop. That is a guarantee. And they know it. Clavitt and Arnold, they both took fuel only on those stops on lap 59. Get some weather in. Could not make it to 90. I'm assuming that Dustin Hall can also not make it to 90. He's going to have to pit here within the next 2 laps, I do believe. But it does mean he's got a chance to splash and dash it and minimize the loss in the last 10 laps of this race when it rolls around. We'll see what it plays out here. He's got some space between himself and the cars behind. It's about a second between himself and Gibney. Hooks it on that inside lane, and in he comes on the nose there. How about Gibney? Also down pit lane. So does Byron Jones. And just like that, it is now a group of 7 at the front of the field, all close together, that can make this on one last stop after lap 90. That was the magic number. They're going to hit it easily. I'm going to go and hazard a guess here. The 83 and company, they can make a pit stop closer to lap 100. They can go all the way to about lap 100. I would not be surprised in the slightest. And that goes to the entire top 10, from Clavitt all the way to Thompson. They can make one more stop. This is a battle for the race win. Right now, this is a battle for the race win. Realistically, right now, looking at where we're at the moment, this is the order we're looking at thereabouts when this race is coming to a close in about 30 laps. Which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. 10 drivers called their shot, and it worked out. Are they a little bit slower right now? Yeah. Yeah, they are. But they're in the catbird seat because they know that the cars behind them that pit on lap 76, lap 37, also have an extra stop. Dean Clavitt has a chance to do something pretty funny. The 83 car, already a race winner this season with Brendan Roberts behind the wheel. He has a chance to add a win to his win total. He has not won in quite some time. Season 2 was the last time he won a race in HTL. 1 career win, 1 career pole, 15 top 5s, 36 top 10s. He has a chance to double his win count for Carolina Beagle Racing as a super sub, as Brendan Roberts did last season. Something about that car and super subs just excelling is wild. He's got a teammate behind him in Ross Baxter. Josh Arnold trying to race his way forward as well. He's also looking for a second race win. He won the Brickyard 400 last season. Steven Oberstadt not in this conversation. Oberstadt a lap down. He pit later. He's trying to get back on the lead lap here in case a caution comes out late to change things around. And I don't think that Clavitt's going to fight him too awful hard on that, knowing that, hey, that's your team boss who wants you to win the race, but also would like to have a shot if things go the right way. Here comes Dustin Hall also trying to get back on the lead lap. So the 1 and 3 trying to race their way back forward, get back on the lead lap, because if a caution comes out and they're on the lead lap, it's level playing field for everybody. Apperson also right now currently a lap down at the moment. But again, Clavitt leads the way. And again, good job at the moment for Carolina Beagle Racing and its affiliates at the moment. Again, Ross Baxter doing great as well. A spin to a potential podium. Ross Baxter feeling pretty good about himself right now. Arnold's taken over the lead of the race, but it's all to play for right now in this group in the top 10. Josh Arnold currently leads the way, less than 35 laps to go here in Michigan. We brought it up there for just a moment. Mississippi native. He's shining brightest in the Midwest. He's won in Indiana. Can he win in Michigan? We get to find out. And, I mean, this all confirms what we already knew, and that was that this group of 10 drivers, Bailey Thompson falling out of the top 10, at this point being caught up a little bit. Clavitt down pit lane now. They're good to go from this point. Clavitt knows that. I like Clavitt's strategy. He knows that he's good to go from here. Instead of having to run it out super long, while the tires are falling apart, you know you're slower than the cars around you. Come down pit lane, grab your fresh tires, grab that fuel that you know is going to get you to the end, and let it soar. Grab some clean air and just let it rip. And that's what they're doing right now with that 83 car. I like the idea. I like the strategy. Gets them out of traffic a little bit. Gets them into that advantage on the fresh tires. He'll be at a disadvantage later in the run. Patrick Overstep also coming down pit lane, so teammates on the same strategy at this point. This is a lap apart. But I like the strategy call there for the 83 and the 88. Get those fresh tires on now, and trouble, caution's out. Caution is out, and that is Sasek, who goes a lap down, and that dooms the 83. That was the downside that I was trying to address, is that you end up being a lap down for a long period of time. Oberstadt trying to get out of pit lane before the leaders get through. And he does. Oberstadt stays on the lead lap. He did not take service. The 88 did not take service. So he was going to take service. Caution came out. He bailed. Smart move on the 88 not to take that service. He would have gone a lap down, surely. Fifth caution of the night for Eli Sasek, the hometown driver here in Michigan. And we'll pull up exactly what happened to the number 9 of Eli Sasek here from Grand Rapids. Have to back up a little bit here so we can get the full picture. This is a battle with Josh Gaiman and Susie just ahead. And that's just Sasek. Nothing that Gaiman did, nothing Susie did. That's just Sasek overdriving, tagging the wall, and losing traction and spinning and coming to a stop there on the racetrack. Everyone does a good job avoiding him. Keeps it all rolling, keeps it all going. Single car involved there, and it is Sasek just out driving the limits of his car and triggering the 5th caution of the night. The concern now, as the field comes down and the strategy element completely neutralized here in Michigan, is now the chaos begins. Now the chaos well and truly begins. Oberstadt stayed out here. I believe he's got to come back down pit lane next time by, because technically he was under a closed pit lane when he left that pit lane. So he will come down pit lane, and he will be at the tail end of the field. Lead lap cars all came in, though. Josh Arnold, Ross Baxter, Dale Murkowski, Casey Wygant, Stephen Oberstadt, I'm not mistaken, on lead lap. Yes, he is. There he is, the number 3 car on the lead lap. He was the first car a lap down when the caution came out. So that gives us 16 cars, on the lead lap. Oberstadt will be at the tail of the field as the free pass recipient. I think a lot of cars looking for a wave around here. Bailey Thompson still on pit lane. An issue here on the 27. What is... Okay, Bailey Thompson rolling now. That was a wild, long pit stop. Minute and 15 seconds for the 27. As we get ready to go back racing here. Interesting to see Patrick Oberstadt stay out. It looks like, and I will go ahead and take back the statement I said earlier saying that he did not take service. He did take service on lap 93. So he got away with one, staying out and grabbing that full service. So he's good to the end. This is going to be an interesting fight. I'm excited for it. Patrick Oberstadt, Josh Arnold, your front of the field. Ross Baxter, Dale Markowski, Pacey Wygant, Josh Gaiman, Willie Sharp, Davis Booth Jr., Cody Pinnell, and Zach Meredith leading the field to the green. Here we go. 32 cars still on the racetrack. 3 retirements, Swatsworth, Borngren, and Feimster. Oberstadt chose the inside lane, got clear of Arnold, and now has to play defense. And this is where the race can get very frantic all of a sudden. 22 cars on the lead lap. Several took the wave run to get on the lead lap, hoping for some chaos, trying to get it. Baxter drifted up in front of by Markowski. Teammate on teammate there, the 33 and the 38. Caution further back. That was a car in the grass, and I believe that was Gary Donaldson. It was. 22 car. 6th caution of the night, as expected. And unfortunately, it is the 22 car that had done a good job avoiding most of the melee so far here in this race. And we will cover why Gary Donaldson ends up in the grass on the front straightaway. Chopper cam here, 22 car, the white car near the bottom of your screen. AB in slow motion. He gets pretty well clobbered by the 23. I believe that is Chelsea Carter it is. And this was almost a disaster for the 22. You do not want to hit those barrels. He does hit the barrels a little bit, but I don't think it's enough to do significant damage. But gets completely clobbered by the 23 at Chelsea Carter out of turn 4. I'll take a look at it again, but I believe he kind of just gets run over. Yeah, just gets tagged by the 23 at Carter. And Donaldson's not going to be the happiest camper about that. Not good. Hopefully not a lot of damage to the 22 car. He is coming down pit lane to review to make sure that left rear quarter panel is okay and that there's no damage to the left rear tire in that process. Saw Henderson came down pit lane as well. Apperson down pit lane as well. 6th caution of the night here in Michigan. 6th race of the season for the HTL Cup Series. While we're at it here, upcoming races here. Texas next Monday. Then it's Chicago, Charlotte, Atlanta, and Pocono. Going all the way through the month of November. We're glad you're spending your Monday with us. Join us next Monday as well as we go to the Lone Star State. Step aside for a quick break. We are approaching 25 laps to go here in Michigan. It is Patrick Oberstadt leading the way over Pacey Wygent in the Great Lakes State. Sixth caution, sixth restart coming up here for the HTL Cup Series here in Michigan International Speedway. Patrick Oberstadt, two-time race winner of the season, looking for a third race win in the 88 car. Pacey Wygent looking to return to victory lane for the first time in a couple seasons. Dylan Markowski looking for his first career win. Josh Arnold looking for his second career win as we get ready to go back racing. Your top five are in order right now. Patrick Oberstadt, Pacey Wygent, Dale Markowski, Josh Arnold, Lily Sharp technically in the top five as things get ready to roll. Josh Gaiman there you see in sixth, also looking to make some waves. Coming to 24 laps to go. Again, only 3 retirements in this race so far. 32 cars still running all the way down to Richard Odie. 23 on the lead lap. Josh Susie, the first car, a lap down again. Hoping for a 7th caution so we can get that lap back and be back in the conversation and try to salvage something in this race that he was at one point a favorite as a 2-time winner of this race, trying to grab a third race win. It's not over, but it's hard to make that climb from here. Oberstadt and Wygent, front row, green flag flies, and away we go. Wygent gets clear of Oberstadt. Car spun. Donaldson again, inside lane. This time not so fortunate. Tags the inside wall. Gets turned again, a second straight time. And this time it's going to cost him. What happened again to Gary Donaldson? This time for a 7th caution of the night. The hits just keep coming for the 22 count. Absolutely insanity. And this time it's the 95. This is going to be Randy Payne. I do believe. No, Josh Stoltz, the 95. My apologies. Randy Payne's the 91 normally. Yeah, this is the 95 of Stoltz. Just straight up hooks the 22. I think he's trying to bump him. I think is what he's trying to do. And obviously you saw the rookie stripes on the 95. Not very used to the stock cars here in HTL. And dumps the 22 as the 23 did a few laps ago. And Donaldson, who had a quiet race up to this point, has had a very loud and unfortunate 5 laps since. And it's just mind-boggling. I think, Gary Donaldson, you're pulling your hair out. You're wondering, what can I do? What can I do in that situation? And unfortunately, the answer is not a lot. He'll come down pit lane to get that damage repaired on the rear of the car. He'll need to. Rear of the car, very important, especially the diffuser underneath the car. He will not be alone. Bailey Thompson comes down pit lane, so does Jeremy Braille. But they'll be alone in that regard as Pacey Wygent leads the way. The New Yorker looking for a race win once again. This time in the SIP Racing colors. 2 race wins in his HTL Cup Series career, in addition to a fairly prolific HTL Truck Series career and a championship to boot there. on his way up. 45th career start tonight, 6 poles, 2 wins, 14 top 5s, 24 top 10s. Not a bad stat line for the 00. Patrick Oberstadt also with 2 wins, both of them this season, trying to go for race win numero tres in his 29th start. 5 top 5s, 13 top 10s, and a pole position to boot for the 88 camp. It's going to be a little bit difficult taking on Pacey Wiesen at this point, but he's up 30 spots from where he started. Pretty good charge for the 88 camp. And we know how good he is so far this season with those 2 race wins already in hand. Already pretty secured, but it's all about adding insurance policy to the playoffs in the round of 16. Weisen's got a playoff point for the stage win here in stage 2. Oberstadt's got himself some playoff points with the wins he's earned so far this season. Weisen would like to have himself some of that as well. And also keep an eye out on Dale Markowski. He's still looking for his first win in his 26th start here in Michigan. Josh Arnold, the Brickyard 400 winner from a season ago, in 4th. Josh Gaiman, the Pennsylvania native for Valfreya Motorsports, in the top 5, trying to bring that team its first career win. David Smith Jr. for NFG Motorsports. The team is falling apart around him. He is still top 10, 6th place right now at the moment. His teammate Lily Sharp also recovering pretty well, up to 7th. Ross Baxter, the North Carolina native for Carolina Beagle Racing. Make it make sense. South Carolina Beagle Racing, but he's a North Carolinian. Brain warping there, but Baxter having a good run so far, despite the 2 spins and accidents he's been involved in so far tonight. In the top 10, he's in row 5 alongside Dustin Hall. And Josh Susi got his wish. He's lead lap bound. He is on the lead lap now in 22nd place. He is going to have a chance to fight to gain some spots, gain some positions, and more importantly, gain some points. Mitigate the damage here in Michigan. 24 cars on lead lap, all the way down to Gary Donaldson, who is still on the lead lap right now as well. As we get ready to go back racing for the 7th restart of the night. Coming to 20 laps to go. Friendly reminder, we've got 3 attempts at overtime if we need to use them to go beyond lap 125. We've got 3 attempts at it. Hopefully we don't, but we might. It is Weisen and Oberstadt, front of the field. Green flag flies, and away we go for the 7th time tonight. Weisen with a great start. He'll leave the teammates to battle each other out for 2nd and 3rd. Car spinning, car spinning. Huge crash. That was Gaiman in trouble, and this is going to be a big one. Huge crash further back. Who is not involved in this one? Henderson involved in this one. Odie tried not to be involved in this one. Stoltz. Sasek gets turned off the nose of his teammate. Not great. Davis Moon Jr. involved in this one as well. Josh gave a middle 3 wide. Got turned by whoever was on the inside lane. I think it might have been Smeal. We'll take a look at it. 8th caution. And this was what we were expecting when that first caution came out in stage 3, that it was going to be in bunches from here on out. And we've not been wrong this season. We've got space for 6 more cautions, unfortunately, is what the ABN Analytics machine tells us. And that is haunting, to say the least. So let's go ahead and walk through this 8th caution of the night. And you see the contact's already been triggered here. Let's go to our trusty blimp cam. It is Gaiman and Sharp. No love lost between these two. There's been some words exchanged previously between Gaiman and Sharp. Neither of them really big fans of each other here. And we're going to go ahead and play slow motion here for just a moment. Gaiman trying to fill the 3 wide space, trying to force Patrick Oberstadt up the racetrack. Sharp tried to give space, but the bottom of the racetrack washes out so much harder than the rest of the racetrack. when the close confines give no room for error, unfortunately, that is where you're standing. We thought Arnold was involved. He actually gets away with it. It is all Josh Gaiman that gets spun, and everyone stacks up. Henderson clobbers the 61. I think Apperson tries to get away with this one. I think he actually does get away with this one. We'll keep an eye on him. As you see all the smoke, all the tire dust. Callie Height goes for a wild spin. That's the 2 of Kissenweather that's slid to a stop here. Callie Height clobbers him a little bit. Pereira clobbers Stephen Oberstadt from behind. Apperson does get through. We're going to grab this replay from his onboard. I know we have his onboard queued up. This is going to be wild. See the smoke early. Lifts. Okay. Yeah, go through. Yep. Through the car park you go. Not so lucky, Callie Height. And we'll grab, I think we have Josh Gaiman ready to go after this as well. You see the smoke. Yeah, Callie, again, on the throttle way too long. They're trying to shoot the gap that just shouldn't be necessary. Being a lap down and not even in contention for the free pass. Not sure what that is all about for the 87. And then we'll see if we can grab Josh Gaiman's car. Again, he's going to have a pretty wild ride here, and we'll back it up again a little bit. We'll actually back it up all the way to the entrance of turn 1, so you can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to keep the 88 car up top, but he's also 3 wide, and Willie Sharp's there, and Josh Gaiman's going to say that that's pretty normal stuff for the 19, based off his prior experiences. And he's going to have to try to repair this car to get it back out rolling to try to salvage something. And Lily Sharp's going to say, not a whole lot she can do. Less than 20 laps to go. You know that there's aggression at every corner, from all angles. And this is unfortunately part of it. As we get ready to go back racing. Once again, 8th restart of the night. As we mentioned, there's a chance for 6 more cautions in this race. For those that want to be depressed for the next 20 minutes. We hope there's not, but there's room for it. Pacey Wygant, Dale Markowski, Patrick Oberstadt, Josh Arnold, your top 4. Lily Sharp survives that for the top 5. Cody Pinnell in 6th. They had a Ross Baxter, Dustin Hall, Jeremy Brayall in Zach Apperson, your top 10. As things run, Josh Susi from 22nd to 11th. He is in the conversation once again. Green flag flies. Here we go. 16 laps to go. Wygant leads over Oberstadt, over Markowski. Car in the fence, outside lane. I would have to believe, I believe that was Gibney. I could be wrong on that. I think it was Gibney, though. Was it 31? Yes, it was. New paint on the 31 car who tagged the wall. Still not familiar with that one yet. Wygant continues to lead the way over Patrick Oberstadt. Less than 15 to go, 14 at the line. Oh, trouble. Gibney got turned and got turned again hard. That was by Susie. And there's going to be a caution for that car spinning as well. Mongol gets clobbered. I believe that was by the 97 of Sawyer. It was. More melee. Chelsea Carter involved in that. Zach Meredith got a piece of it. Kelly Hyde again involved. That is Elias Flores involved. 9th caution of the night. And this will get us within 10 to go here in Michigan. Dean Clavitt also got a piece of it as well, it looks like. So let's take a look at what happened here. It starts with the 31 of Gibney getting spun up the road. And we'll have to get a better angle. Let's go to our chopper cam. And let's slow it down a little bit. Gibney, Apperson, Arnold, Susie, and Kissenweather all in the bundle here together. And it's not Susie that turns him initially. It's Apperson drifting up the racetrack. Gibney saves it at first. Susie tried checking up for him, but closing rate's still just a little too hot. And Gibney goes for a wild ride, and everyone's going to go for a ride trying to avoid him. 8 car goes for a ride. The Santiago, the 90 going for a ride. That's where Flores loses control in the 99 machine, and you're going to see more of that. Looks like Santiago does lose it a little bit in the 90 car. Clavitt, the 83. Hard hit there. That's Carter plowing right through the 97. Not sure what Carter was thinking there, trying to floor it through the crash. And this affects several cars outside the top 10. Gibney was falling out of the top 10 as it was. He had kind of been swarmed at that point. That certainly exacerbated the issue as we sit less than 12 to go. We're coming to 10 to go now, I believe. Sorry, 11 to go at the line is where we'll be now. So, see how this all plays out. 15 cars stayed out here. Just about everyone else has come down for damage repairs. Richard Odes has finally called it a quits after lap 101. So we're down to 30 cars. Josh Gaiman also out at 106. So 30 cars left running, 5 retirements here in this race. Gonna be interesting to break this one down. Again, those at the front of the field have avoided most of the chaos. It's been the impatience mid-pack that's caused a lot of the drama here tonight. And we'll be going green with 10 laps to go on the nose here at Michigan for our 9th restart of the night. Wygant, Oberstadt, Markowski, Hall, Sharp, Braille, Apperson, Arnold, Kissenweather, Susie, your top 10. Ismo Jr. 11th, Ross Baxter 12th, Cody Pinnell 13th, Byron Jones, your top 14, 15th belongs to Gary Donaldson. 22 cars on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap, Blake Henderson. First car lap down, Tucker Sawyer with Callie Height trying to battle for that free pass position because we know how important that position could be with these last 10 laps of regulation. As we mentioned on the last restart, 3 attempts at overtime if we need to go beyond lap 125. Overtime, it's a green-white checkered. You get 2 laps, green flag, next flag's the white flag. If we get to the white flag, we get to the final lap, the race is official. The last lap is it. If we do not get to the white flag and we have a caution come out, we will try it again. We have up to 3 attempts to do that. If we get a caution on that 3rd attempt, race is over. We'll see if we need it. 9th restart on tap. Green flag flies, and here comes 30 cars battling for position once more. Here comes Markowski up to second. Got ahead of Oberstadt. Chevrolet second and third. It's a Toyota out front and Pacey Wygent. Markowski, though, a chance to do something. He has not done. Trouble, car in the fence. Caution's out 10th time. And it's Byron Jones in the fence. And in the fence hard. The hood has popped up here. He's going to try to come down pit lane without being able to fully see. Trouble for Byron Jones immediately. Tenth caution of the race. Let's take a look at why. And this is going to be a little bit of help. You can already see it from Ross Baxter to 38. But we'll zoom it back just to see the lead up to it. And we'll play it back in ABN slow motion. There's Ross Baxter. You see him in that 38 car. And there's the hard hit. And Thompson gets a pretty substantial piece of it. Unless netcode saves the 27. In which case, Thompson's probably the luckiest person alive. Byron Jones, not so lucky. Cockpit cam for the number 60 machine. Yeah, you can see sort of what Byron Jones saw, and that was practically nothing. With all that damage, not a lot of engine power left either. And the car will slowly come to a stop there right before pit lane. So Byron Jones on the pit lane. Some cars coming down pit lane for additional repairs because they need it. Stephen Oberstadt, Blake Henderson, Zach Meredith, and Tucker Sawyer all down the pit lane. Pacey Wygent continues to lead the field to green. Step aside for one last break here to try to get through the finish here in Michigan. Stay tuned because the finish of the Brooklyn 350 coming up here on ABN right after this. Welcome back here to Michigan International Speedway, the Brooklyn 350 here. In the last 10 laps of regulation, it is Pacey Wygent and Dale Markowski, your top two. Patrick Oberstadt, Lily Sharp, and Dustin Hall, your top five on your 10th restart of the night. Trying to avoid overtime is the 00. Trying to grab his first career win is Dale Markowski in the 33. See how it plays out. 22 cars on the lead lap. 29 cars still running at this point. as the racing gets set to begin once again on this restart. Wygen to the inside, Markowski to the outside. Then it's Patrick Oberstadt and Lily Sharp in row 2. Dustin Hall, Jeremy Braille in row 3. Josh Arnold, Mark Kiss, and other teammates there from Militia Racing Club in row 4. Davis Muir Jr., Zach Apperson round out your top 10 in row 5. Going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Coming to 6 laps to go here in Michigan International Speedway. To the restart zone we go. Green flag flies, and away we go. A little bit of confusion among the lap cars there. Tucker Sawyer on the apron. But that does not affect the race leaders at the moment. Wygent leads the way. Car got loose. I believe that was Hall. It was Hall. And caution comes out for the 11th time tonight. And it's not just for Dustin Hall. That's Cody Pennell in the fence as well. And Angel Santiago. So a little bit more drama to go into this. And it puts us a little bit closer to overtime here in Michigan, where we have 3 attempts. And unfortunately, as we mentioned a few laps ago, we had room for 6 more yellows. We had enough green flag running to knock a yellow off of that. We have room for 5, and we've used 2 of them already. So the next caution after this would be a green, would force overtime. Let's take a look. Now, what happened here? So we're going to have to use our good old handy-dandy chopper cam once again, because this, in 2 sections, Dustin Hall gets turned, and then there's this accident that affects more cars further back. We'll focus on the back and move forward. This is Santiago in the 90, Cody Pennell in the 8. No contact initially there. Did they ever make contact with each other? Oh, 100% they did. Not sure what Santiago was doing there. He weaves to the white line. Assuming he sees Dustin Hall and weaves back to the middle of the racetrack, but he completely door slams the 8. Nothing Josh Stoltz can do. He's got 2 spinning cars in front of him. He either goes and hits Cody Pennell or he hits Santiago. He chose to hit Santiago. And Flores tries to shoot the gap. Almost gets it close there. Avoids completely killing the 8 car. I'm sure Pennell will probably consider that to be a little bit more gratuitous in that situation. But all of that is in reaction to Dustin Hall getting spun. And he gets spun by Jeremy Braille. It looks like. Let's play this in slow motion. Hall in the 1, Braille in the 74, that's Sharp in the 19. This is in your top 7. I think realistically this is top 5 is where we're at right now. Braille tries pushing the 1. Not even so much a terrible bump by Braille. It just unloads the corner awkwardly for the 1 car of Hall. And he's stuck sort of just drifting in limbo there. Doesn't hit the wall, thankfully. The wide pavement area gives Hall a chance to just sort of slide around and get that car back in the right direction. And then he gets to see the melee that came from reacting to it. Not a terrible bump. It was a flush bump, which is usually what we complain about. It's not usually on a square bump when it happens. That's a square bump. It just unloaded the 1 car, and when he lost traction, he couldn't get it back. Which is unfortunate, but that happens. I'm not sure if they'll fault Braille for that one or not when they look at that and review it post-race. I think it's just sort of a situation of you're coming to less than 6 laps to go. It's time to go. It's a move that 90% of the time doesn't do anything. When you do it right, Braille did it right. It just, that 10% stuck. So, 11th caution of the night. And this was after a caution-free stage 1. It has been a wild race ever since the start of stage 2. And it's not really calmed down. Wygant Markowski, once again, front row. Everyone else has a viewing for the show. Patrick Overstat, Lily Sharp, row 2. Brayout, Kissenmother, row 3. Arnold and Smeal, row 4. Apperson and Susie, row 5. This is under regulation, coming to 2 laps to go. So as we mentioned, we have room for 3 overtimes if we need it. Hopefully we don't, knocking on wood. Wygant's hoping we don't. So is Markowski to a degree. We'll see how it plays out. Green flag flies, away we go. Overstack, clear Markowski. It is all about if you can chase down Pacey Wygant in the 0-0. Patrick Overstat thinks he can. He's going to have a good shot at it too. Here comes Brayout in third. But we got to get to the white flag. Can we get to the final lap here in Michigan? Cars up near the fence. That's a couple cars up near the fence, but we stay green and we get to the white flag. 1 lap to go, presented by Southern Cleaning Company. And it's all the Pacey Wygant show. Can anyone stop him? Overstat shoots to the bottom. Cars wrecking further behind. Will stay on the leaders. That's Kissenwell that was in the fence. Car in the fence again. That was Brayout. Driving hard. Wygant breaks the draft. Trying to go for a race win. It'll be his third in his Cup Series career. Out of turn 4, here he comes. He'll hold off Patrick Overstat. Pacey Wygant wins at Michigan over Patrick Overstat in a photo finish for third. Trying to figure out if it was Lily Sharp or Dale Markowski that got that position. They're saying Sharp. Right at the line. So Sharp finally gets a podium. Markowski will have to settle for a top 5. Brayout will get a top 5 as well. Josh Susie mitigates all the damage with the 6th place finish ahead of Josh Arnold. Davis Muir Jr., Austin Mongold, and Dean Clavitt round out the top 10 here in Michigan. But it is all on Pacey Wygant, your race winner here in Michigan. He gets to celebrate on the front straightaway before parking in victory lane. Burning out there in victory lane as well. Pacey Wygant, most laps led tonight. And grabs the race win as well. Ahead of Patrick Overstat and Lily Sharp. We'll talk to our podium finishers here in a moment as he burns it down in victory lane. We'll step aside and get ready to go through post-race coverage here of the Brooklyn 350 in Michigan. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. Post-race coverage of the Brooklyn 350 taking place here on ABN. A wild race, 11 cautions here in Michigan. It is Pacey Weichen that comes out victorious in the Great Lakes State over Patrick Oberstadt and Lily Sharp. Let's go ahead and go through your race results here tonight. Pacey Weichen, Patrick Oberstadt, and Lily Sharp, your top 3 over Dale Markowski, Jeremy Brayall, your top 5. Pole sitter Josh Susie could not get his 3rd win here in Michigan. He has to settle for a 6th place finish ahead of Josh Arnold. David Smith Jr., Austin Mongold, and Dean Clavitt walk away with top 10s from tonight. I think all of them counting their stars that it wasn't worse. Bailey Thompson recovers well, started 33rd, never really had the pace to contend. Ends up with the top 11 anyway. Zach Apperson, after winning at Talladega and having the pace tonight, didn't have the fortune go his way. He ends up 12th place tonight, missing out on the top 10 with Texas coming up in just 7 days' time. Dustin Hall also recovers pretty well. He got spun later on in the race after starting 29th, ends up 13th at the end ahead of Ross Baxter, Gary Donaldson. A race of absolute misery at the end. He still pulls away with a 15th place finish. About where he started 14th, finished 15th, stayed mid-pack. Cody Pennell moved up several spots, moved up 8 spots to finish 16th from 24th. Zach Meredith, he slid backwards pretty heavily from 5th to 17th. Callie Height in the 18th spot from 21st on the grid. Mark Kissenweather also slid back 10 spots to 19th. Stephen Oberstadt in 20th. Blake Henderson in 21st, 22nd. Tucker Sawyer, the first car a lap down in that position. Elias Flores, Eli Sasek also a lap down at the end. Sasek, again, ruining a day here at Michigan where he had a fast car in that 9 machine, went a lap down and never recovered in that position. Olivia Pereira, KJ Gibney, Angel Santiago, Josh Stoltz, all finishing this race. Byron Jones, Chelsea Carter, Josh Gaiman, all not finishing. Same with Richard Odie, Chad Swatsworth, Matt Vorndren, and Kevin Feemster. They packed up early to head to Texas next Monday. We will talk to our podium finishers here, and we'll start with 3rd place Lily Sharp once we get everything lined up here on our end, because we haven't had a chance to do a whole lot here on that front. Let's go ahead and talk to Lily Sharp, 3rd place finisher, who starting the season did not have a secure ride. Obviously, things change. Out goes Alfredo Hidalgo, out goes Tyler Ratliff, back in comes Lily Sharp to the 19 car. And what seems like the first time in forever in this series, you grab a podium on an oval. It was a wild one, but the 19 car had pace, starting 4th and coming back home 3rd. Walk us through it.
Back-to-back podiums on my 3rd race back. I'll take it. Yeah, pace was good in qualifying. Missed for bottom, so I could have started a little higher. Was working a lot with my teammates, Sosi and Smeal. We had help from Game and Verf a lot. Lost out a bit with a equipment issue for Sosi. One of those restarts where he couldn't shift. So I was just battling back from that iffy position in the pack with the dirty air being so prevalent with these cars now, especially here. It was tough. Also got a little bit of damage when I was fighting, I think, Markowski, a couple of restarts, so it was kind of loose on the start, and surprised I managed to turn enough to side draft him to a dead heat and get 3rd.
You talk about back-to-back podiums here. Obviously, a good run of form here for the 19 camp in a time that has been sorely needed. Getting things back on track here. Road courses, typically that's obviously where you got your win in HTL before. You're coming into your own form here on the ovals. It's going to be ovals that you're familiar with. Texas coming up next week to kind of kick things off going into the month of November. A form like this, 2 tracks where it can be chaos and typically is, getting these these podiums back to back. How does that help fill the team with confidence, knowing that you've been able to survive and thrive in these situations? It's not just getting there and getting there by way of surviving, but you qualified well to stay there.
Yeah, these 2-milers are definitely the ones I'm getting better at. I still have a bit to learn on the intermediates. which I think I'll get. Texas, I'm half looking forward to. I know turn 1 and 2 is going to be the tricky section. Flipping on exit there, I think last season. Chicago, I'm still in Denmark, so I might miss. So that's going to be a little bit of a disruption, but I feel like I could get back on it up until the next time I miss a race, which would be Kentucky. So it's all about securing these points, securing these good finishes to where those 2 missed races and the 2 at the start of the season won't end up hurting me in the long run and trying to get into the playoffs for a 3rd time.
Obviously, it is going to be all about maximizing points here. You've done a good job doing that the last 2 weeks here. And hopefully the same thing happens at Texas next Monday. Before we let you go and let you obviously celebrate the podium here in Michigan, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on the run, both in qualifying and the race tonight, and hopefully a sign of a lot more to come in the Lone Star State.
Yeah, I want to thank Sosi, Smeal, Gaiman for being great help tonight, great team communication, and DJ put me back in the car when everything went down at Willow Springs. Track Racer, Acertech, Demon Tweaks, Turn 1, and Pitbull for being on the cars that I run. HTL for the league, and you for the broadcast.
Great job for Lily Sharp. Back-to-back podiums here. Helps that 19's case a lot with Texas coming up here in 7 days. Lily, enjoy the podium. Congratulations, and hopefully we'll talk to you again next Monday.
Merci.
And we move on to Patrick Oberstadt, who was looking for a 3rd race win this season. Misses out, but grabs a 2nd place and grabs the points lead while he's at it to add on to what has overall been a successful start of the season. Patrick, walk us through it. That was a wild one. Out a little bit on older tires, but it seemed like it didn't have too much of an effect. Walk us through it on your end.
Yeah, it didn't start off well. I hit the wall in qualifying, so I ended up starting 32nd, if I remember correctly, just like Las Vegas, starting at the back, and just clawed my way back up. And then that not the last caution, but the last caution after the green runs, I got lucky and was able to. I pitted right at the right time, and I was able to come out, and I was in first, and that set me up for the rest of the race. But and then the Pacey just had better short run speed than I did, but I felt like if it went long, I might have had a better chance than the result tonight.
Obviously, this race was all about chaos. 11 cautions tonight. Obviously, does not give a lot of chance, a lot of opportunity to sort of grab and hold momentum and fall into a rhythm, as we see so often the case. But beside that, 88 car looked quick. Obviously, we talk about, the qualifying effort, qualified 31st, moved all the way up to the 32nd, went up to 2nd place here tonight. The car had pace all the way through. Obviously, the cautions aren't going to be able to give a whole lot. We knew the car was tight. How difficult was it trying to make passes at that point, knowing that it was all about preserving that right front?
Towards the back, towards the rear where I started, it was impossible. It was really hard, and you just have to run where no one was. But then once I started working my way to the front, it started to handle a lot better. And then when I was at the front, it just night and day. And I think that's what also helps me is I'm able to stay up front once it starts handling well. So I feel like track position is just every track with this car.
And obviously, I mean, it works out for you anyway. If there's anyone that can figure out how to make passes happen, it is the 88 camp and the Carolina Big Old team. Team Ralph still grabbing some good results here. Texas coming up was a wild race last time we went, but not in a bad way. What is the outlook there for the team going into the Lone Star State as we look at the calendar coming up here? It's going to be some interesting races coming up here. Obviously, you look at Texas, you look at Chicago Street Course, which some people are going to love, some people are going to hate. That's a polarizing race. But then you have Charlotte, you have Atlanta, and then Pocono coming up. That slate of races, does it give you optimism of grabbing more race wins along the way before Thanksgiving?
Yeah, hopefully Texas. I sure as hell know I will not win at Chicago Street Race because I'm not a road course. But Atlanta, we're very well good at Atlanta. Pocono, it depends on the car. I'm good there in the trucks, not the cup car. But hopefully, but I'd rather get my friends or my teammates wins before I get any other ones.
Well, we'll see how it all plays out here. Obviously, close to having that happen. Dale Markowski finished fourth as well for the team tonight. So very close to making it happen here with Texas coming up. Before we let you go and obviously let you enjoy the podium tonight and game plan and get ready for the race in Texas coming up next Monday, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Fantastic effort once again. And now the points lead in hand for the 88 camp after 6 races here in HTL.
Yeah, first off, thanks for putting this on the air for us, and I'd like to thank my brother for bringing me along here and just letting me in as always, and thanks my painter David Smeal and all my teammates, and yeah, that's about it.
Fantastic job for Patrick Overstap. Points lead with a second place tonight after starting 32nd. He climbs up, hardest charger in the race tonight, and we'll see if he can grab that third race win in the Lone Star State next Monday. Patrick, enjoy it and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And then we get to talk to the man of the hour. He finally grabs his third career Cup Series race win. We talked about his accolades in the Truck Series, where he was a champion in the HTL Truck Series. Well, it feels like eons ago. Pacey Wygant, top step of the podium here tonight in Michigan, a track that has typically treated you with success. Does so again here tonight. Walk us through it. A fantastic job for Ascent Racing. Your first race win back in over a year.
Well, I just want to start off by saying I guess Michigan treats you a lot better when you're not involved in the wreck on the last lap. Because that's always the case with me. I always get involved in the wreck. So I really don't know what I'm supposed to say. Like, I mean, it just feels really good to be back in victory lane, especially here with the Ascent group. They've treated me really well, and I guess we're going to continue this good, positive relationship. So trying to teach them what I can, and we move on from there. And my engine just blew.
Obviously, a great job for the team. The team looked quick though tonight. It wasn't just you. Sasek looked quick before he got taken out. You talk about the bad luck that you've experienced in the past that avoided you, but it grabbed your team owner at his home track, unfortunately. But for you, obviously, turnaround, good fortune there. The 00 car has been quick, whether it's been you in the car or Brady Smith when he filled in for you. It's been a quick car regardless. Now it's a race win and insurance policy to make sure that you're in to the playoffs straight through here. It does take the pressure off going through. Obviously, looking at next week at Texas, the rest of the month of November. Now it's all about just building up some insurance for the playoffs. What does that do for you, the race win, as far as changing the outlook for the races? Obviously, you're looking at trying to get race wins, but how does that take the pressure off of you, knowing that if you have a bad race, it's okay because you've got a banker in hand that'll guarantee you've got a playoff shot in the new year?
It actually takes a lot of weight off the shoulders because I know of at least 1 to 2 more races that I'm going to have to miss. So it's definitely takes the weight off the shoulders. But other than that, I'm not really going to change how I race. Obviously, I want to be up there battling for the wins. You know, I respect a lot of people in here, and it's a lot of good competition. So maybe we could clean it up a little bit and end one of these things under green, like an actual green flag run rather than a green white checker. That'd be kind of cool. But either way, no, I'm going to continue doing my thing. It's just going to be the normal Pacey.
A fantastic job. Third career win for the 00 camp tonight, on top of your success in the Truck Series leading into the Cup Series. Before we let you go and let you celebrate and get ready for Texas with the team next Monday, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on the effort. And hopefully the first of many conversations we have this season.
Yeah, I got to start off by saying thanks to you for broadcasting. Thanks to Eli for giving me the shot in the ride for the season. And everybody who's in chat cheering me on. I know there's a lot of haters, but there's also a lot of cheers. So, yeah, just overwhelmed with excitement right now.
A great job for Pacey Wygen here. Third race win of his career, first of the season here in season 7 at Michigan. Texas coming up. We'll see if Pacey can do it again and go back to back. Pacey, enjoy it, and we'll talk to you again next week. That was the 00 Pacey Wygant that we heard from. We heard from all of the podium finishers here in Michigan. Again, we'll pull up the top 12 results on your screen. Pacey Wygant, Patrick Oberstadt, Lily Sharp, your top 3. We heard from all 3 podium finishers. Sharp going back-to-back on podiums. Patrick Oberstadt, your points leader. Pacey Wygant surging forward as well in that 00 camp. Del Markowski, a great run from him. Cannot state that enough. He did a fantastic job from 23rd to 4th. Jeremy Brault did a great job as well from 7th to 5th. Josh Susie recovered nicely. 20 laps before the finish of the race, he was a lap down and stuck. Ends up in 6th place at the end. Great recovery for the 24 camp. Josh Arnold in 7th. David Smoot Jr. in 8th. Austin Mongold grabs the top 10. A rare occurrence for him, but a much-needed one for the 29 camp. Both of the B-Tron cars top 10 tonight. Dean Clavitt rounds out the top 10, filling in for Bren Roberts. So the 83 car keeps things going as we look towards the Lone Star State next Monday. Billy Thompson outside the top 10 just barely. Zach Apperson, the race winner at Talladega a week ago, ends up 12th place, but had pace to do so much more. We hope you join us for the race coming up here in Texas. Between now and then, we have a couple of broadcasts coming up. The HTL High Octane Series right here in the Great Lakes State, Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:45 on Sunday. It is the HTL Cup Series finale from Atlanta. We hope to see you there for both of those. On behalf of everyone here for HTL, for the HTL Cup Series, Henderson Graphics, Southern Cleaning Company, all of its partners, and everyone here at ABN Studios, thank you so much for joining us here tonight for a wonderful Monday of racing. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you next time from the Great Lakes State. So long, everybody.